Harlem High School believes the more students scroll, the less they learn. So starting next year, in each classroom, devices will be locked away.
But it's a move that sparks concern from some families. Nathaniel Langley learns how parents react to the change.
Daniel Sidney, Harlem's principal Jeremy Boyes believes his school found a trade-off between banning or keeping phones in the building. Some parents, though, worry the lockers could do more harm than good.
Because of the phones, I knew my children were okay.
A school shooting in Madison prompted a purchase for Betty Ruth.
I bought my third grader a phone for that very reason, for emergencies.
That's why the Harlem School District mom fears a plan that restricts phone use at the high school.
Taking personal property away, especially from a child that's not doing anything inappropriate, is not a good thing.
We will relay any message from a parent to a student.
Starting January 6, 2026, class will begin at Harlem High with students placing phones in small lockers.
Pretty simple, and again, it just takes that temptation away from having it an arm's reach away.
Principal Jeremy Boyes believes a locker system ends the whack-a-mole game teachers play as they find devices.
This is a really nice balance of learning the responsibility of having a smartphone while also not being distracted by it during class.
Inspiration came from the Chicago suburbs. Bremen High School implemented the same system in 2024.
And the funny thing is, as much as kids were very reluctant in the beginning, work completion went way up, their grades in class went way up.
Before becoming a mom, Megan Dobbs attended Northern Illinois University.
And I was unfortunately on campus during the shooting in 2008.
The mom of a former Harlem high schooler believes teaching responsible phone use is safer than a lock.
If there is something that happens at the school, he can reach me immediately and not have to try to go through the schools where there's chaos and panic.
Since the school hasn't ordered the lockers just yet, final cost isn't known. Boyes expects the price to be $100 per classroom.
Students can return their phones during passing periods or lunch. The plan arose from a task force of teachers and high schoolers.